Yeah.
Well, I would like to come in at this point because I absolutely, know what Nikki has been through here, and that is some people's experience. And yet, I also know you can completely recover from an eating disorder as well. Some people can, and getting the right kind of treatment, maybe the kind of treatment that wasn't available to you when you were young.
I didn't have.
If you get that now, you can beat it, which is why we changed our name to Beat. You can beat your eating disorder, and I confidently think in the future more young people will make a complete recovery so that their life
So what have we learned then now
Yeah.
that means that in the past someone was condemned to that life? There was nothing could be done, but now there is this great light at the end of the tunnel. If you've got to talk to someone, haven't you?
We've started to learn a bit more. We don't know everything, a bit more about what some of the causes, some of the risks are. We used to think it was all somebody's own fault, they were attention seeking. That's not true. It's not caused by bad parents, that's not true. We're learning that more of it's hardwired than we thought. It's in our genetics, it's in our brain chemistry, but then it's also in the kind of influences we see around us. And it's those things that we can change.
And those influences that we see around us
Media
are
pressure.
more and more pressure. And if someone looks fantastic, then they may be told, oh, they're just putting on a bit of weight, or losing a bit of weight, and you're terrified. No one can look perfect anymore.
Exactly, but we do need to challenge that, and I think some people are now like here having this discussion, making people realise the kind of effect that has.
But can I ask you? I mean, obviously there's more media interest in celebrities and people in the public eye in recent days. What with different magazines that are out there, has that affected the numbers of people suffering with anorexia? Is there kind of a move?
Well, I think in one way it's made people more aware of it, so they're more likely to ask for help and realise they can get help, so it's good from that point of view.
And it's not such a taboo subject anymore. Like when I was ill 20 years ago, no one knew about anorexia and people didn't know how to deal with it. So it was very, very difficult to speak so openly as I can now about it.
I'm a bit shocked that over the many years that I've been hearing from anorexics and also from their anguished parents, we haven't moved as far as I think we should have done. And one of the chief stumbling blocks is that it is seen as a female, fashion-led illness, and it is no such thing. There are a lot of boys out there who are suffering and from bulimia, and there's nothing for them. It's sources of help. I mean, now you are getting, providing help, and we're talking, but at the same time there are those websites out there that are virtually encouraging it.
Pro-anorexia.
We have got to get serious about this, because there are a lot of worried parents out there, a lot of anxious children, and the trouble is, if it goes too far, then the thought processes change. So Nikki became very clever at staying where she was, and that was entirely natural, not your fault. That's what happens. You cannot reason with someone if you let it get so far. So early intervention is imperative, but we must look at it as not anything to do with fashion or wanting to be a size 10 or whatever. It is an illness, and it is an illness that affects males and females.
Certainly, yes, and we do know of boys and young men affected now. Probably 20% of cases, certainly boys and men, and maybe they're less likely to, go to the doctor or even tell their parents they've got this problem. So it's underdiagnosed in boys and men. Recently when John Prescott, big burly guy, spoke out about his bulimia, people were shocked, and we had 10 times the number of calls from men to our helpline saying, are you sure this thing I've got is an illness? Are you sure I can get treatment for it? They didn't know.
And just by mentioning it today, by talking about it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You've let no one down.
Excuse me. And also the fact that
you,
as you say, in the past this was something that you had been condemned to live with, but now you can beat it.
Absolutely, you can beat it, and I think going forward, young people now getting the right help quickly will are much more likely to make a complete recovery than if they were going 20 years ago.
That's nothing to be ashamed of. Come out and say it. It is like having appendicitis or pneumonia
it's a very secretive disorder.
It thrives on that, though. The condition itself makes you keep it secret. That's what the illness does to you.
And that's why you haven't let anybody down.
You really haven't.
Just by doing what you're doing, talking about it, bringing it out in discussion. You haven't let anyone down.
And we wish you well as well. Really do. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you or someone you know is affected by an eating disorder, see our website, itv.com/thismorning for helpline.
We're back after the break with Dermot Gavin.